Narrative writing 2. This is the second video in our narrative writing made simple series. I'm Teacher Steve and this is Beyond English, Unlocking the Power of Language. Today we're going to look at writing a narrative, in particular the 5-paragraph approach and the 5-step writing process. Let's get into it. So there's 2 parts to writing a narrative. The first is planning and the second is writing. In this video, we're going to look at the writing part, at writing a narrative. And we're going to look at the 5-paragraph structure and format and the 5-step writing process. It's important that we have a structure and a format in which to build our narrative or story and a process to follow on which to build it before we start planning it. Once we know our structure and format and the process we're going to take, then we can start planning. Video 3 will look at planning your narrative. So let's do a quick revision or review or recap of video 1. A narrative is a real or imaginary story. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it tells what happens to a character step by step. There are 3 main categories of narratives: factual narratives, which are based on real life, true stories; fictional narratives, which are imagined or invented stories, made up; and hybrid or creative narratives. These utilize a mix of forms. An example of a hybrid or creative narrative is a narrative poem. So there's 4 pillars of narrative writing. At the heart of every narrative, there's 4 core building blocks. These are the characters, the people and animals, whoever's in the story; the setting, where and when the story happens, so the time and location; the plot, what happens, the actual story. It normally involves a problem, a crisis or conflict, and a resolution to that problem, crisis or conflict. And the resolution is an important part. It's how that problem or conflict is solved or resolved. So they're the 4 pillars or the 4 important components at the heart of every narrative: characters, setting, plot, and resolution or solution to the conflict or problem. Whatever we do, we need a purpose and a reason for doing it. Otherwise, there's no point. And narrative writing is no different. There's 5 reasons that narrative writing matters, and you should work on this skill. It helps you use your imagination, develop your creativity, and organize your thoughts. These 3 things are important skills for you to develop to improve your communication and learn to share your ideas and feelings in a meaningful way. Good storytelling builds your thinking and language skills, and it helps you to get people to understand your experiences and ideas. It makes you a better communicator, which in the end will make you more successful in everything that you do. Okay, let's get into this video now that we've done our reflection and review. What is the 5-paragraph approach and what is the 5-step writing process? Well, the 5-paragraph approach is very simple. It's 5 paragraphs, which are an introduction, beginning, middle, end or resolution, and a conclusion. This provides you with a structure or format for your narrative. And the 5-step writing process is plan, write a draft, edit it, write your final draft, then proofread and do your final edit. Let's break each one of these down and have a look at what's involved. So this is how the 5-paragraph approach looks. It's your basic structure or format for writing a narrative. The beginning, middle, end, and resolution is your story. This is the actual story, and this is what you should write first. The introduction and conclusion are outside of the story. They're both very important because the introduction captures your reader's attention, makes them want to read on, and the conclusion gives them something to think about at the end. Let's break each one of these down and have a look at what's involved. So your first paragraph is your introduction, and a strong introduction is very important because it sets the scene, introduces your main character, and sets up the main problem or conflict in the story. A strong introduction grabs the reader's attention and makes them want to keep reading. It draws the reader in and invites them to follow the story all the way through. You will either capture your reader's attention or lose them with your introduction. So it's a very important part of your narrative. Okay, paragraph 2 is where the story begins. It's time to start your story. Show the daily life of the character, introduce the problem. Build your story. What's the character trying to do or achieve? What and who gets in the way? What are the obstacles and challenges that they are facing? You build these in paragraph 2. Use descriptive language. Help the reader imagine the situation. Build up the tension to the main action, which is in paragraph 3. Okay, paragraph 3. This is the big moment, the crisis, the heart of your story. This is where the most action and most emotion happens. The situation's serious, the story becomes exciting. The character faces a challenge, a crisis, or a danger. So it's a dangerous or challenging situation. They've made a mistake, a bad choice, or an error of judgment that has led them to this point. There's a moment of fear or conflict, and you need to use emotion, action, and suspense in this paragraph and in your language. Describe how the character feels, what they are trying to do. You want the reader to feel and understand what the character is feeling and going through. Now we're at paragraph 4, the end, the resolution. This is where you solve the problem. How does the character overcome the crisis? What happens next? And do they learn or grow from what has happened? This paragraph shows how the character deals with the crisis and what happens next. Maybe the character learns something, maybe they make a decision, or maybe they change in some way. The story starts to calm down here and it prepares for the finish and the conclusion. And paragraph 5 is your conclusion. You want to finish strong, make your last paragraph the best paragraph, and then your story will be memorable. End your story with a strong conclusion. Reflect on the story. What is the lesson or message in the story? How has the character changed, grown? What have they learned? Leave the reader with something to think about. Your conclusion helps the reader understand the meaning of the story, and a great conclusion will leave them going away thinking and pondering about what you've read and said. Okay, let's look at the writing process. 5 steps to a strong narrative. The first is planning. Remember our 4 pillars of narrative writing? Well, all of these need to be involved here in your planning. Your characters, your setting, and your plot or story, the story outline. Who? The characters that are involved. Where and when? The setting, the time and location. What? The problem, the crisis, the obstacles, challenges that the characters are facing, and the how. How's it going to be solved and resolved? So these are all components that you need to look at in your planning process. Draft is the next thing. Once you've planned your narrative, then you write your first version. You leave the introduction and the conclusion until last. Don't worry about mistakes, just get your first version of the story down. Once you've got your first version, beginning, middle, and end, then it's time to go back and edit it to improve your words, your sentences, your paragraphs, and fix any errors that you've made. Make any adjustments that you want to the story. Once we've edited it and happy with the beginning, middle, and end, now we go and write our final draft. And this is where we write our introduction and conclusion. You develop your masterpiece here, applying the finishing touches to the beginning, middle, and end, and constructing a great introduction which captures the reader's attention, and a great conclusion which gives them something to think about at the end. Once this is done, it's time to proofread and do a final edit. My recommendation for proofreading is that you read it out aloud. It will help you check for any unnecessary errors that you've made, awkward sentences, grammatical errors, and it will help you identify the changes that you need to make in the final edit before you submit or publish your narrative. Okay, that's it. The 5-paragraph format and structure and the 5-step process to writing your narrative. Remember that writing a story is like painting a picture with words. You need to use your imagination, follow the 5-paragraph guide, and embrace the writing process. You need to trust the process. Take your time with each step. Do not skip any and do not rush through any, for they are all important and all play a part in writing a great narrative. With a strong structure and clear steps, you can bring your story to life. Remember to plan well, write with your heart, and enjoy the journey. Embrace the process and have fun while you're doing it. Thanks for watching Narrative Writing 2, 5-step writing process and 5-paragraph approach. I'm Teacher Steve from Beyond English, Unlocking the Power of Language. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Chat soon.